Well, I want to talk to you about. Let's talk about Wonka first of all, because it's the most sort of recent thing.
Has everybody been to see it?
I think if we get in quick, I think you and me could write a musical based on the Glasgow Wonka. I think there would be a great song about the unknown song. The Unknown is such a good character. I can't believe they just made that up, like a frightening thing called The Unknown hiding behind a mirror. It's fucking... That's not in Willy Wonka, is it? They've just made that up. So I think we could do... Would you fancy collaborating on that?
No, thank you. No, there might be a Wonka too, so I don't want to alienate the people who made it, you know. No, it's great fun and also unbelievably hard work.
Yes, I bet.
So I feel like I've earned the sort of all the chocolate money.
Yeah. The first thing they didn't really promote the fact that it was a musical, right? In all the trailers and stuff.
I know.
Did that make you feel quite annoyed?
It did make me sigh deeply. Yeah. No, honestly, I just worried that people would go and see it and then be annoyed that it had lots of singing in it. But this is mostly apparently an American problem, that Hollywood is very like the musicals are over, you know, kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Again.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're ever over. I don't think any genre really is ever over. You just don't overdo it. And and if you make good work, you know, it should work.
Yeah.
It's
sort of weirder with Mean Girls the musical. They sort of didn't make out that Mean Girls the musical was a musical when there already is a film called Mean Girls.
Yeah, it's just
that the musical's based on.
Stupid.
So it's kind of weird not to flag up that that's a musical when that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, I mean, when I started out in pop music, I didn't think much about musicals, didn't think much of them. But then, I guess you see more of them, you sort of lower your threshold a little bit of like, why are they breaking into song? And then you think, life is so bloody mental anyway.
Yeah.
Why not break into song in the middle of it? It doesn't make any difference. And but I suppose Wonka was easier because it is a sort of family movie, and it would kind of be weird if it didn't have some nice jolly songs along the way.
Well, the songs are really good, and it really works.
Thank you
the
very
movie.
much.
So it seems odd that they didn't go, hooray! Here's some brilliant songs by brilliant Neil Hannon. But did you? How much were you once you? How did it work? So it was Paul King's the director, and he's a fan of the Divine Comedy.
Yeah, that's my big break, basically. Yeah. I kind of wondered whether this would happen. It was sort of a semi-master plan that, you know, as I sort of went on, maybe younger people who like really love my band will get into positions of media power.
Yeah.
And then they'll come looking for me. And it actually bloody worked.
Well, it's worked for you. It hasn't fucking worked for me. I can tell you that. That's what I hoped as well. And loads of my fans have gone on to be quite high-powered, you know, in the world of comedy. Fuck all from those wankers. But go on. Let's talk about you.
Oh, if we must. Yes, well, Paul emailed first, and then, you know, phoned me up with the FaceTimey shenanigans.
Yeah.
It was just at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And yes, and I just thought, oh, you're just basically an English version of me. It's kind of small and beardy and kind of middle class, and you know, don't want to upset anyone. We got along famously until he started basically bullying me. But you know, that's the role of a Hollywood director.
Yeah.
It's like, my God, towards the sort of third year, it was like just a rolling nervous breakdown. But he just cares about every single facet of the film.
Yeah.
You know, and that includes all the music and the lyrics.
Well, that's quite important in a musical.
Unfortunately, most of what his notes were good.
Yeah. And did you get to like work with the cast? Did you meet Timothy Chalamet? And
He popped into Air Studio when we were sort of demoing some of the songs.
right.
And he was a lovely young man. Just jolly and bouncy and floppy. So, like real positive energy. And I felt so like just, you know, he's looking at me when I'm introduced as the songwriter and just like, well, you're old, you know, move along, you know, but that's okay.
What's it like handing over? Because obviously you're used to singing your own work.
I'm used to singing on this stage. It's so weird just sitting here talking about stuff. Oh, well, there's chocolate, and there's chocolate, etc. Sorry, go on.
Is it just... well, I want to talk about that in a second, so don't let me forget about that. But, you know, do you feel like handing over the songs to someone else to sing? Would you like to... do you think you could release an album of you singing all the songs instead of him singing them? I'd quite like to hear them in your voice.
I dare say I'll sing them at some point, because I like the songs.
Yeah.
You know, my favourite is this... oh, God, I've forgotten the name of the bloody song. Sweet Tooth.
Okay, yeah.
Which is ironic, because I have very bad tooth pain at the moment. I am quite high on painkillers.
Did they pay you in chocolate for the film? Is that what happened? like the guy in the film?
No, basically I paid myself with chocolate all through my teens and 20s, and crisps and Coke, and I ruined my teeth. This is a poignant lesson for the younger members of the audience. Look after your teeth. Because now I'm in press shots and I don't want to open my mouth. It's awful. How sad.
Good. Well, look, while we're talking about there's chocolate and there's chocolate, my daughter, there's a couple of times just before I'm interviewing someone, it happened with Abby Clark, who's a fantastic comedian on TikTok, but my daughter was talking about, there's a TikTok craze of people dancing to there's chocolate. TikTok is it's a social media. It's like if you had a very small attention span and wanted to watch TV. So it's like that. If you could imagine that happening in the 1980s.
Okay.
And so people are doing TikToks of dancing, because I guess the dance in the film is quite fun, with Phil Wang and Timothy Chalamet and jumping on tables.
Do you know Phil fell off the table and broke his arm in the
I'm
middle
aware,
of filming? Yeah.
So people should be doing that.
Yeah.
In their TikToks. But how did that's kind of, so it's a bit of a craze, and my 9-year-old daughter knows about it, and then I can say, well, I met the guy who wrote that.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos of small people singing the songs.
Yeah. Is that Hugh Grant being an Oompa Loompa? Because that doesn't count.
I beg your pardon? I literally didn't hear that, I'm afraid. That's probably
it was a brilliant joke. Listen to the podcast. When you listen back to the podcast, I'm going to up the laugh a little bit. I think it is deserved. I'm going to use that one. No, that one. Oh, man, I can just use any of them. These can go anywhere.
What was it? No. Hello?
I just made an Oompa Loompa joke. It's okay.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
No, kids singing like, oh, well, there's chocolate, and it's like, oh my God, I've become very sort of sloshy all of a sudden. Slushy even. Or
Sloshy?
Sloshy.
Don't get too sloshy with the kids, is all I'd say. Slushy's fine. I think, but it sort of makes sense for you to. I mean, I know you've worked on films before and writing TV stuff, but it seems like I think your stuff has always been very cinematic, anyway, hasn't it? I think the
so I'm told.
Yeah.
Back even in the 90s, before it seemed to make any sense, people were saying you should do musicals, and I was going, why? Why does any of this make you think that? It's like because you tell stories, but that's not what happens in musicals. You have characters basically with exposition and kind of just they're saying things to other people. So it's not, they don't tell stories in musicals. So it was something I had to learn because I did a version of Swallows and Amazons
yes.
with Tom Morris. And that was a hard learning curve to try and make an actual piece of theatre with songs that made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, I have done a lot of the sort of odd TV stuff. But it's always sort of accidental if it works, you know. I never feel like I've mastered the art of any of these things.
It's, well, you know, I think you have. So I think I'm going to go with you have mastered.
Okay.
I mean, it's good to feel like you haven't. You know, it's good to feel like there's room to move on. And
But
what,
that's
I think what's
exactly-
impressive about your career is, you know, A, it's been going for over 30 years, and B, there's a big variety of stuff.
Yeah.
That you've done.
The truth is, I don't want to have mastered anything.
No.
Because then I'd just stop. I do feel, you know, for the last sort of 5 years or so, I've done a lot of the Wonka and a lot of the best of sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, suddenly I've gone, I suppose I should write another Divine Comedy album. And, yes, but hold on. I don't know what to do. And it's sort of simultaneously terrifying and perfect at the same time, because this was kind of the feeling I had in 1992 when I didn't know what to do. And I just did stuff, and it somehow worked. It was like a beautiful accident. And so maybe I'll have a beautiful accident all over the next record.